Yeah, you're on the Name and Creative Show. Welcome back, people who are listening. We've got Meredith Pericles here, and I'm going to look at this, but she's the founder and executive director of Do Good and Shine Brightly Foundation, Inc. And they put on Do Good Day, among other things that I look forward to exploring, like what the future is and what you're doing. But ultimately, I like to talk to people who are doing really cool things in the community, in the world. And clearly, this is a pretty cool thing. I'm about building community. This is. So we're in alignment. And I just appreciate you taking the time to come on.
I appreciate you taking the time to have me on. This is so exciting. You set some goals sometimes. You're like, I'm going to go on a podcast. When is that ever going to happen? And then it's happening.
Well, here we are. And actually, you know what? This is the first podcast that I've recorded out of my new office here. So you're the first.
I am honored to be recorded here. Is amazing too. With the whole history of the Edge that we both have.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's start there because we're in the Edge. Obviously, that's shaped what you're up to. We've got Big John's across the street. We've got your involvement in Edge Insights and the Edge Business District Association. Maybe you could bring me to what got you involved in this Do Good Day, this foundation that you've created. What's the spark? Why are you doing this?
Why am I doing it is to make a difference to this one. And so we'll get to that. But how it started here, I guess, and what the tie to the Edge is that my husband's family owns one of the longest running businesses here in the district, which is Big John's, we mentioned. And I've been here through many different changes through the Edge. And so we've seen a lot happen. But we know some people from the district that we've known for a long time, one of which is Mark Ferguson. And I was not a big participant in networking groups, BNIs, MPIs, never was a part of that, and heard about this Insights Club that Roger started as part of the Edge, and it was more an informal gathering, but also some business education. So I started going and picked up all of these amazing insights from Roger, which you'll probably hear me refer to throughout the interview. I always seem to reference him, and also had a really powerful conversation about how many nonprofits we're blessed to have in our community, but how nobody knew how to get involved with what they were doing because everybody's doing different things at different times and different places. And I thought, well, there's a need right there. There needs to be one place where you can go and find out where you can volunteer in the whole county or the whole area, the whole state, whatever, however big this gets. And Do Good Day was born.
It's so cool. It's so important too. It's like, it's sitting there in front of you kind of this whole time and the need is there. It's interesting because you actually just made me think about a project that I worked on with my master's. I hadn't even thought about this, but it was like a way to connect volunteers to nonprofits. And we designed an app.
So I have a
whole
business plan and idea plan, and there's room for an app in there for sure. But yeah, it all just kind of started. And then I knew a bunch of nonprofits in town from different things. Like I'm a water steward through this Florida UF program that they did. And I got to hear some executive directors from some water nonprofits come speak. So when I came up with this idea, I'm like, oh, I'll just call the people who spoke in my class. And I'll just call up, these other nonprofits that I've volunteered with since I've been here in Florida and see if they're interested in being a part of this fair. And they were.
Yeah. So first off, what's a water steward?
It is like a guardian of our waterways. So I took basically, adjunct or when you audit classes for fun. It was this program and it's run through the UFASIF extension or whatever that agriculture extension thing is. And they teach it from Weeden Island Preserve. And you learn all about our waterway and our system and how to preserve it. And all these speakers, they do all these panel discussions. So all these cool speakers come, hence how these nonprofit executive directors came one day.
Uh-huh. And so you mentioned a fair. So it's like a fair.
It's like a fair.
You want to break down what the event actually is?
So the idea is a career fair. And, they have all the businesses come and they have tables. And they set them up and they decorate them and they put all the swag out to attract you to their table. So that's kind of what it is. But the nonprofits do that. So who knew that nonprofits have all these cool tablecloths for their tables, and Tampa Bay Watch made this huge display with their oyster habitats that they do, and Positive Impact brought this gorgeous food basket of food that they distribute, but she made it so beautiful. And so they all set up these booths, and there were 38 nonprofits last year. So they made this circle. Yeah. The first year there was 13. Last year there was 38. This year there's going to be 50 plus.
Whoa.
I'm accepting all the way through the 21st. So that's why I'm not exactly sure how many they'll turn out to be, but we're close enough to 50 to say 50 plus.
Wow, you go right to the end, the edge, because that's a week before the event. It's on the 28th of March.
It's on the 28th of March at Ferg's from 11 to 2. And Mark Ferguson is so generous that he lets me set up the whole space. So it made a circle last year. So you could start at the beginning of Ferg's right there at the front door, and it just makes a lap through the outdoor space. We don't go through his indoor space, but through the outdoor space, all the tables are set up, and you can basically walk a circle. This year it's going to be a bigger circle because we have 50 nonprofits, but it's really exciting. They sell t-shirts and they sell 3D printed little animals. And then some people have just, like a cardboard backdrop because this isn't what they do. They're usually, helping do the missions. And so it's a big gamut of everything, but nonprofits are small. So you get some executive directors out there. So if you come as the public or you come as yourself and you're interacting, these are people you might not always get to one-on-one just chat with and spend time with and hear about their passion for the mission. And then the whole way you get in it is you have to have public-facing volunteer opportunities.
Okay. That's the only requirement.
That's the only
You're a
requirement.
nonprofit?
A nonprofit. Technically, it's been serving this area. I haven't had to turn down anybody from Georgia that's wanted to come. So I guess that's like an unwritten rule. But yeah, and the main rule is just you have to have a volunteer opportunities that the public can hopefully that day sign up for. And then you contact them later on. So it's that idea of you're walking downtown and somebody comes up to you and they have this petition that they want you to sign to save the whales, and you just sign it and then you go back about your day. You're probably never going to contact them or follow up with them or see if that made a difference. But if you come somewhere specifically looking for a nonprofit to connect with, you're going to put down your name and number, and then you're going to follow up and you're actually going to volunteer with those organizations.
Sure. Yeah.
So hopefully it's a closure rate situation. And after last year's event, I was floored. I had 100% feedback say we all connected with at least one quality volunteer who followed up after the event.
Wow.
And multiple nonprofits told me it was their best tabling event of the year.
That's
and
enormous.
There's no fee. It's free. Free for nonprofits.
And free for the public to attend.
Free for the public to attend.
So it's just free
and you
all
can
around.
bring your pets because Mark loves pets. So Fergus is pet friendly. Pet friendly, family friendly, free to participate in, free to come to.
That's
not free to sponsor if anybody wants to sponsor.
Okay, that's good to know. And it's important to know also that this episode, realistically, it's not going to air before the 28th. But I'm glad to have got you in because you were just speaking about we need to be promoting this year round. And I think that's brilliant because it's a really great idea. And obviously, it can have energy all year round. I feel like one thing that I don't know is said often or anything like this, but just the fact that it exists and that it happens reminds people that nonprofits are there and keeps,
Increases
I
visibility.
was going to hit up West Care or Great X or whatever. And it's around in their brain. Even if they don't attend the event or see about it, it's good for the community in general.
That's the whole point, is to do good.
Yeah.
Do Good Day and the whole foundation name. And the great thing about this, whenever it airs, is that we have evolved into this whole foundation that is doing other events that are strengthening the whole local nonprofit ecosystem. So everything I'm working on benefits multiple nonprofits. It's all connecting nonprofits, connecting volunteers to nonprofits, helping their infrastructure and their ecosystem. So it's not like this is going to raise money for Daystar. This is going to, everybody's out there tabling for themselves, but it's increasing the visibility of all of them to the community through the fair, also through the promotion of the fair. Social media is a big thing, and maybe you can't come, but you see this and it says 50 nonprofits. You go to the website, it shows you all the nonprofits that are there. All of them have volunteer opportunities. Your whole app idea, one day, hopefully you can click right there and learn where you can go volunteer. But for now, you got to come out to Do Good Day, or one of our other programs that spawned from doing this event, created this whole foundation because of all the things I learned doing the event.
So you have Do Good Day. What are some of those other events?
We have Do Good Together, which is a nonprofit executive level connection event. The first one happened at Voodoo. The second one's also going to happen at Voodoo. Thanks, Bob. And
Voodoo Brewing.
Voodoo Brewing Company, yes.
Cool.
The first one was January 24th, and we've already had enough response that people wanted another one, that it'll be back on May 16th. It's invitation only, with priority invitations go to the nonprofit executives who come to Do Good Day. But one of the things people told me was they loved connecting with the public, but there was no time for them to connect with each other. They got there, they were setting up their booths, they were interacting for 3 hours, they were done, they were ready to go home. So I thought, oh, what if we had an event where they could just connect that's separate? Because events are a big thing. You want to do a pre-event party, but then you're expecting them to be there the next day too. So I just moved it completely to a different time of the year. We all got together. It was mainly just about connections and letting one nonprofit know what another one is doing. So there's 9,700 registered nonprofits in Pinellas County.
What, just in Pinellas County?
And we only have 946,000 residents.
Jeez.
So it's a nonprofit per 100 people. So obviously there's people that have overlapping services, overlapping populations. And the whole thought process is that one day you would be able to connect everybody, and they would be able to find who they could work well with together and stop operating in silos ineffectively and operate together and affect bigger change. But you have to start bringing them together somehow.
Yeah, absolutely.
There has to be a hub, like you saw. You have to bring these coworkers together. You build the hub and they will come. So that's kind of what the events are, that they're not just events. They're strengthening this whole nonprofit ecosystem. You get the executives together. They get to bond. They get to realize that they're not the only one out here doing this really hard work. There's other people doing the hard work. We did a little social media strategy class. So they got a little bit of information. Some nonprofits, bless their hearts, don't really have the best, websites. So you are looking for that, you want to go volunteer somewhere, and you go to their website and you can't get any information from it. So we're trying to show you ways you can do that yourself. But one of the future programs is like a Do Good Day for skilled workers. So we could match nonprofits with people who want to donate their time pro bono. Let's say there's a lawyer who wants to help a new nonprofit spend 3 hours going over their bylaws.
And the lawyer would have a booth?
The lawyer would be donating 3 hours of their time, so the nonprofit would get 3 hours of legal advice for free.
Mm-hmm. That's
so
great.
It's kind of another matching event, but I hope that there would be enough. Maybe there's an accountant who wants to donate 4 hours of time to help a nonprofit do whatever they need. Maybe they're $9.90. That's a way that nonprofits can really get information out about themselves through a tax document. So they don't always know how to do that. Maybe somebody spends 4 hours doing that, makes a big difference to them when funders go see their $9.90.
Yeah.
And all of that, like, ideas came from Do Good Day and getting all these nonprofits together and trying to communicate with them in setting up the event and coordinating event logistics and just seeing where there were gaps in the system.
Yeah. Well, clearly there's gaps all over in that space. There's so many organizations that are doing such great work, but they don't have the legs for marketing to get the word out, or the volunteers to get the word out for people to know about it. And so, these kind of events are really important to project that good work and keep that momentum behind it.
Yes. So it's grown every time I've done it. And I hope that going into next year that we're getting so big that we're out spilling into the parking lot, or I don't know, down Central Avenue, or a side street.
Yeah, Fergs is big, but
we've talked about how fun would it be. So last year it was on the same day as Mesomarket. This year it's a different day. But how fun would it be if Mesomarket and Do Good Day ran into each other, because we had so many nonprofits that it crept into their space.
Oh.
So, there's dreams. There's no limit to how many can participate. The limiting factor has been people who responded to my emails. I cold called tons of nonprofits and just said, I researched them first. It's a highly curated event, But if it was somewhere that had the volunteer opportunities, I reached out and said, I think what you're doing in the community is amazing. Here's this event. I'd love for you to be a part of it.
What are the people who say no? What is their feedback? Like, we just don't have the resources to even do a day, or what's
Mainly,
the
and
pushback if you get any?
there's been very few no's, actually, and usually it is either we have so it's March 28th, which is huge in fundraising season. This is season. So there's tons of galas and other fundraisers to compete with, and those are annual events as well. Last year, CASA was able to partner with Protecting Paws for Life, and they did a booth together because it's CASA's huge event night, and they just didn't have the manpower to send people to sit for 3 or 4 hours over at Ferg's when it was all hands on deck for their fundraiser. So that's been the main thing, is just we don't have someone to send.
Yeah, sure. Their resources, which it's kind of ironic because they need, yeah. It's like, just find someone for that. How long is it? It's a 5-hour event all
No,
day?
3. It's 11 to 2. It's only
3
3
hours.
hours. Mhm.
What impact can 3 hours? Obviously, there's setup and tear down, but in one day, imagine the ripple. And this is year 3.
This is technically year 2. This is
Okay.
the second time we've had it at Ferg, so it's year 2. Moving forward, the mayor has proclaimed, will be proclaiming the last Saturday in March as Do Good Day.
No way.
Yes. So
No.
that's going to happen at city council right before the event. But going forward, now you can always plan that Do Good Day is going to be the last Saturday in March.
Last Saturday in March. That's really cool. So you got a day.
Got a day.
Do you have any thoughts of taking this out of St. Pete to Tampa, or out of Florida, or worldwide?
I've definitely thought about it, but what makes this one so powerful is that I vetted all the nonprofits. So when you come to the fair, I can say you are meeting nonprofit. There's nobody who's scamming. Like, all of these people are doing legitimate work in town. To do that in somewhere else, you would have to go there and kind of immerse yourself in their nonprofit culture, or somehow remotely be able to verify that everybody was coming. To put your like stamp on it that these are all vetted, I'd have to figure out the model for how that works. But of course, that's a goal. Do Good Day Orlando, Do Good Day Savannah,
Absolutely. I mean, you take that
Do Good
model
Day
anywhere.
Honolulu.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I personally volunteer to set up Do Good Day France, but
Yeah, sure. Just take it where you want to go to. I mean, I'm thinking of the organization. It's called Effective Altruism or something like that. And they do like an intense job of vetting nonprofits where your dollar goes the furthest. Like, this dollar goes to buy 90 cents of it, gets a net here for mosquitoes. And it's like that 10 cents is allocated in this way, and it's very granular. So I don't know, maybe you could partner up with,
somebody who's done that kind of
right.
vetted work.
Because eventually, no matter what, even if you honestly stay locally, like the way this is heading, you're only one person,
Yes.
and
I definitely have a team of volunteers, and Alexis Escoview is my, vice president in charge of communications and crowd control and everything.
she's good at that. Shout out to you, Alexis.
She
And
is,
Roger. Didn't give him
yes,
Roger Curlin.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. He's definitely provided a lot of guidance through this process, and sometimes I had ideas that were a little too big, and he's, just wait on that one. And other ideas that maybe I was on the fence with, he's like, no, run with that one. That one's great. So I have a big support system.
That's
But
important.
yes, it does come down to it is just me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So you're the only official employee or person within
For now,
the
it's
organization?
so new. The whole nonprofit 501(c)(3) structure came about during the event last year, so it's less than a year old. And for the past year, it was structured a little bit differently, since we didn't know it was going to be so. You never know how something's going to be accepted. I thought it was a brilliant idea that so many people would be spoken to, and that it would grow and take off like wildfire. But you just never know if there's a lot of other people who feel that way as well. So it was really good. And then this past year, there wasn't a lot of development into it because it was more of a spur of the moment thing. So now, moving forward for the second year, I feel like there'll be a lot more structure. So an actual board, some other people brought on with official capacities to help and to do it throughout the year.
Yeah. Okay, so you don't want it to just be that is Do Good Day, like the one fair, but then you have Do Good Together and these
And
other
there's also
supplemental
Sprouts for Good, which is our children's programming. It's already up and running. It's actually won an award from Tampa Bay Lightning and Advent Health.
Sprouts for Good. Oh,
Yes.
wow.
So that
So what's
one
that?
is connecting kids to local nonprofits. So the reason that I'm all about nonprofits is my grandmother and grandfather volunteered.
All right. I was wondering where's this all coming from?
My Nana
Okay.
was on the board of everything that you could be on the board of in Lexington, North Carolina. So we grew up, there were Halloween carnivals and we made Christmas cards and took them to the nursing home. And we sang Christmas carols door to door in different neighborhoods. And she drove Meals on Wheels. And then that was, I'll date myself. That was early 80s. My mom to this day still drives for Meals on Wheels.
Wow. That's
So
special.
it just created this lifelong service for me, and I feel like that would happen for a lot of children if you introduce them to nonprofits and what nonprofits locally are doing at a young age. So it almost creates a volunteer pipeline, which is just another level of the strengthening of the whole nonprofit ecosystem, which is like what the whole foundation is about. And all these different events strengthen different parts of the infrastructure ecosystem in different ways.
Yeah, it's really neat that you created a nonprofit that can that can help other nonprofits. So you're not just choosing like one. Now you're helping 50 kind of in one effort. Obviously, it's concerted efforts in lots of different
Right.
categories, but overall this effort is helping a lot more than just one nonprofit, which is enormous. And you had explained at the beginning of this that that's like the whole goal is that we're not targeting one
Yes.
nonprofit specifically.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
everybody. We
Yeah.
all rise.
Yeah. Absolutely, we do. Um, so North Carolina is where you're from
Yes,
originally?
where
Okay.
I'm from originally, I've been here since 1999, so
And did you get into the nonprofit realm then, or has this always been a part
it's
of
always
you,
been
like
just a part of
professionally?
no, it was never a part professionally. It was always just a part personally. I went on mission trips through high school, through college. I've been to Brazil, Belize, Mexico, all over the United States. We did all kinds of domestic work as well. So that's just kind of what my family did on summer vacations. So that was the side, though. It was never the job. I was a pediatric cardiac ICU nurse for a while.
Okay. So
And
still
then
serving,
still
still taking
serving.
care of
Oh,
people.
yes. Everything has always been some kind of service, definitely. I mean, I was literally in service industry, in the restaurant industry for years. That's how I put myself through nursing school and, various other things. So it's always been some form of service. And then when I stopped nursing, it was to have 4 children, which is, nothing but service.
Nursing
And
in a different way.
yeah, exactly. But all these skill sets from whether it was service and hospitality or service and nursing really prepares you to be a parent. It's kind of amazing training. And then all of those things have prepared me for how to deal with all these other things that have arisen with the nonprofit and how to triage problems and it just attention to detail. That's probably one of my strong suits. And it comes from, one decimal place is the difference between life and death in an ICU medication. So, those things catch your eye quickly. It's all just helped come to this point.
Yeah, it seems like your path has been charted for setting you up for something like this and definitely in that realm.
Here at Naaman Creative, we want to bring your ideas to reality, whether that is having your voice be heard over the airwaves or branding your content with music. We can help make that happen. Visit NaamanCreative.com to learn more about the endless possibilities that we can create together. Let your voice be heard.
So, can you bring us to like where did this idea form? How did this come about? Can you tell the story about that?
for Do Good Day for the event.
Yeah. Like
Yeah,
where was it birthed?
after an Insights Club meeting, we were literally sitting around talking about how we're so blessed to have so many nonprofits in the county, but that people didn't know how to get involved in an easy way. And so they got dropped at that step of, I don't know what they're doing or when they're doing it or where they're doing it. And, this whole phone culture has created the easier something is. They tell you have to have so many clicks before you lose a sale. It's kind of the same. If people have to hunt you down, they're already trying to come volunteer. They're not going to do that. And so I thought, well, there's just really a ball drop there of connecting the public to the nonprofits. So what's fun to get them visible?
Absolutely.
A visibility fair.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's essentially what it is. And being at Ferg's just gives it this whole fun energy just from the location. And then we're very blessed that we have Jay with Eat This Dessert First,
Oh, Jay's great.
who
Yeah, he's
just
a part
won
of this
Brick
community.
Pitch.
Yeah. Shout
Big
out,
part of this
Jay.
community. And he's going to be set up there for our dessert food truck.
Sweet.
So he'll be there with us that day. And then just 50 nonprofits and the whole Ferg's atmosphere, which is just amazing in and of itself.
Nice.
It's just like a party.
Oh, they just won like a worldwide award or something.
Number
like that.
one sports bar in the USA
Or, yeah, in the US.
by USA Today.
Yeah.
So,
I've been
it's
there
amazing.
a couple times and I'm like, this place is enormous. And then I walk outside and I go, there's a stage back here.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I've seen it grow since 1999.
All right.
And so it's so funny to see just all the things that have changed, but also all the things that are the same.
Right.
So it's a very cool spot. Mark is a very giving person. He has always put community at the heart of a lot of what Ferg's does. I'm sure that's why they're so successful.
Yeah. Oh, of course. That's why you stick around. And also why you linked up with providing you the space.
Yeah.
Like you had a relationship with Mark.
I mean,
before that?
the shop is right there, so our families have known each other. But as far as like myself and Mark, there was no real relationship except for I'm part of the Pericles family, to say that for the introduction. But it was more, I started pitching him the idea, and we were sitting at a table in one of the indoor rooms. And within 5 minutes of starting this pitch that I thought was, going to be this hard sell, and I'm going to have to convince him, he's like, come on. And he takes off walking, and he's like, and you're going to put one here, and you're going to put one here, and you're going to put one here. And he's like walking the whole restaurant and showing me, you can have this space and you can have this space over here. And if you need to have the stage right here, you could, have your speeches right here. And he was just so on board, and everything I asked, can I have which unfortunately these aren't happening this year. So I guess it's a good thing this is going to be after the event. But we had a VW photo bus come and be a photo booth. Hey, Mark, can I have this bus come and be a photo booth? Yes. Hey, Mark, can I have this goodness gracious ice cream truck come?
Oh, those guys are great.
Yeah. So everything I asked him, he was like, of course, sure. And the day of the event, we took pictures in the photo booth, and he said, doing this again next year?
Right away. He
Same
wanted
day
more.
of the event.
Yeah.
Middle of the event.
That's a great
So,
sign.
Yeah, it was dependent on the Rays schedule, which all worked out because they play next weekend.
Oh, perfect.
The next weekend after the event. So it didn't
Yeah.
interfere with the event. And so, yeah, it's like it was meant to be.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's a really cool story, and it just means a lot. What would you say is the biggest hurdle? Because I mean, it seems like just so much is aligned, but I
Funding.
love the funding.
Yeah. So last year for the event, client came right on the heels of the hurricanes. And it's crazy because I feel like people were very generous. People were so giving, got sponsorships from people I'd never expected to get sponsorships from, and easily. And this year, it's definitely been different, but the whole funding scene has changed. It's changed federally. It's changed locally because now people have been in that post-hurricane state for 18 months, which everybody is still very empathetic, but some of that giving isn't there as much because now you're just trying to survive 18 months later too.
Sure. Who's an ideal sponsor or funder?
There would be all levels. So it would be great to have a title sponsor, like a Raymond James or someone come in like that. It would be great to have a mid-level sponsor. I think of places like Rollin' Oats and other super local places, but places that care about, like, they curate what they put in their store.
Right.
So it's kind of that same mentality.
Yeah, Sands Market. And
Sounds
Nico.
Market,
Yeah.
yes, Aniko, she supported. She gave us we had a lovely gift card for our raffle last year. So lots of the local businesses do that. Invigorate does gorgeous basket. Grassroots Kava does a gorgeous basket.
I could
So
donate like a consultation
there you go.
to
Naaman Creatives throwing his hat in the
Oh,
ring.
for sure. Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
don't let me slip on that.
perfect.
Yeah, just hold me to that.
Yeah, I
That's
will.
for sure. 100%.
So we're building that, and Heidi over at Daystar, Hellmaker Blush here. She's like one of my role models. I consider her like I want to be like Heidi. What she is to Daystar, and just the way that she makes things happen over there. So I went to Empty Bowls this past weekend, which the foundation is happy to sponsor. This is our second year that we've been able to be a sponsor of that event. Um, but she had this gorgeous silent auction and all of these wonderful prizes. I said, Heidi, how do you get those? I go to them. I spend the whole year going and asking. And I thought, okay, Do Good Day's got to start, April 1st for next year. So I'm hoping to ramp up that part of it and have a whole, this year it'll be small. There'll be a table of raffle baskets, but in the future, making that more similar to what they do. That's a really nice silent auction. Hers, you could even go online and bid. So that's something to think about for the future. For last year and this year, it's just been about getting a good mix of quality nonprofits to kind of appeal to all different. If you want to come save the earth, if you want to come save children, if you want to come save seniors, if you want to come save veterans, animals. So just making sure that every category was represented, which of course I'm still limited by people who respond to me or who reach out to me. Hopefully this is going to start getting the word out to nonprofits as well to say, I want to be involved.
Guaranteed. What do you think the most underrepresented realm is? Like, is it climate or is it children?
I feel like that this last year it was veterans was hard to get. I don't know that it meant that they were underrepresented versus it was hard to get someone to come represent them on that day.
Right.
So there seems to be a lot of good representation, but that one was the one that I noticed last year. This year has just been a lot better. It's been much more well-rounded. People who were on board from last year, responded. So I didn't start at such a deficit and have holes this year.
Cool. Oh, that's great.
I try to think that it's well-rounded, but there'll be a post-event survey. So, the public can say, well, I was really looking for this and I didn't find it. I'm sure you'll probably get some of those funny comments like, well, we thought there was going to be so-and-so included. We thought you get free drinks at Ferg's or whatever. But whatever gets people out there and interacting, I like to say that the success of the event is how many people come.
What's the average?
Don't have an average because
Do
we
you
only
know?
had the one last year.
Do you know how many people came last year?
I do not. I didn't have a way
No
to
idea?
track. I know that Big Brothers Big Sisters said she filled 2 pages of signatures. So I would think, 26 that's 52 people wrote down their name. If only 1 in 4 wrote down their name, that was 200 people.
Yeah, that's probably good math.
So
Yeah.
I was hoping for around that. I'm hoping that this year there'll be more. I've done more advertising for it.
I guarantee it.
Ferg's picked up some social media posts, which helps because they have such a good reach, whereas mine is still very small. So you can post on your own all day long, but you're only reaching the people
Oh,
you've
yeah.
already reached. So it was really great that they've been able to kind of boost some things.
Are these nonprofits also sharing? We're
They
gonna have
are.
a booth
So
there.
that was part of what the Do Good Together. I said there was like an education section. Last year, our nonprofits that attended had a combined 1.4 million followers on Instagram and 500,000 on Facebook. So it doesn't account for overlap. If they had all shared the post about Do Good Day, it would have reached that many people, but it kind of didn't happen that way. So that's what we talked about at Do Good Together back in January. And then when Ferg's made their post, I sent an email to everybody. Here's the post. Make sure you share it. And people did a great job. So some people made new posts. Some people just shared it to their stories. So that way they're all picking it up. And then, yes, they're supposed to do a post or two about, we're going to be at this cool event. So hopefully you would pull all of their followers who are those like-minded service people.
Sure.
Yeah. If you're following a nonprofit, there's probably a reason.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a different kind of crowd that you can activate from those crowds.
And
Yeah.
some of those big, Keep Pinell is beautiful. They're a member. They're a participant. They came last year and they're coming this year. They have a great following. So it's great when they share because that gets in front of a bunch of people.
Oh, definitely. Who are into that kind
Who
of
are
stuff.
into that kind of stuff. I also did a Radio St. Pete show.
Oh, great.
And every time that I've been on, Fox 13 or any of those shows, I've talked about that it was coming up. So.
That's good. That's great that you're getting press and things like that, and I'm glad that you came on here.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, we're just hanging out.
I like the podcast and the radio much better than TV. TV's fun, but it's not. I couldn't do that every day. I could do this.
It's a lot. Yeah,
you got the Christmas lights and our drinks of choice and
sure thing. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nobody can see. Got the baseball hat on over here.
Not yet. One day we'll pop on the video component to this podcast. Actually, the next episode we'll release was videoed in Belize. You had mentioned Belize, and so I was like, okay, I'll release that one as a video because it was pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's a cool island.
Yeah, there's no bad scenery there. So
no, it's really great. Yeah. So the name Do Good and Shine Brightly.
Yes.
So do good. That's understood. What specifically? Where did the shine brightly come from? What's that component?
Just the same with light and let your light shine and shine. We all shine a little brighter. Just that same thought process. I knew it was going to be something bigger than just the event, so I didn't want it to be Do Good Day.
Great.
Do good. There's a lot, first on Sundays, of different things that are, do good this, do good that. So it just kind of evolved through wordplay and thinking of the different programs because I already had some idea of different things I wanted to do. And so kind of trying to think about how would all of that fall under an umbrella.
Yeah, I like that. So even though, because we were talking about, it's a few words, but
a mouthful.
There's a reason for it. And it's well thought out. So I agree now that I know the full picture of that.
So my Nana was an English teacher and I studied for the LSAT for fun and took it. So words have special meaning. So it definitely was a well thought out, even though it's a mouthful. And that's why when I say jokingly, maybe I'll do a DBA, I don't know what I would do DBA the whole foundation of, because that's encompassing all the different things that I've thought of that it can do.
Sure.
And some of them are about these do good works, and some of them are about helping others shine brightly or helping yourself shine brightly or helping us all shine more brightly.
Yeah. Well, then don't do a DBA. Just embrace that it is a mouthful,
that it's the long mouthful. So I've got to fix the first part of the email address then because, director@dogoodShineBrightly.org is quite the mouthful.
The domain name. Yeah.
It's
okay.
It's quite long.
You could probably find some acronyms available still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I totally get the naming thing. It's first off, what's available? Oh, that's too general because it's scooped up everywhere. There's a lot of dynamic to that. It's like I just want to get this going. Come on.
Yes. So I also have a for-profit business, and that one's name just came to me. So right on top of that, but it's spelled WRITE. So it's copywriting it's basically for nonprofits. So grant writing, but other copywriting skills. But it's from, do you know the movie that it's from? Did you get
right on top of that? No.
Right on top of that, Rose.
That's over my head.
The Babysitter's Dead. It was a great 80s movie with Christina Applegate.
Oh, I was born in 89.
Yeah.
So I guess. What's the movie?
Yes, you missed. It's called Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Oh.
And the long story short of it is her mom is out of town for the summer. They don't have any money, so she fakes a resume and goes to work in this company. And her boss's name is Rose. And she says to her, if I ever ask you anything and you don't know the answer, you just say, I'm right on top of that, Rose. So there's two different scenes in the movie where she says things to her, and Christina Applegate says, I'm right on top of that, Rose.
That's great.
So then
cool.
when I was thinking of the name of the writing company, I was like, you want people to know that you're responsive and that you're right on top of that.
That's perfect.
So I
Oh my
changed it
gosh,
to
how clever.
WRITE. Yeah.
Oh, that's even your for-profit is fueling good stuff. I mean, ideally those grants that you're helping them get
Yes.
awarded go to propelling good things.
Yes.
Neat.
Yeah.
Boy.
It's kind of full circle, I guess.
Yeah, well, it certainly is. Well, I appreciate you telling the story. Are you ready for a special segment to end it out?
Maybe.
It's called the rapid fire.
Okay. All right. There's like
There's
the
sound effects and everything. This
hand
is super
motions.
highly produced. Trust
Okay.
me.
Ooh,
All right.
I feel the pressure.
Yeah.
I'm not good under
Oh yeah,
pressure.
yeah.
All right.
Points and everything. This is a whole
Oh,
big
dear.
thing. Yep,
A surprise.
leaderboard. Yeah. Yeah, you can have this pop.
Oh,
Ice cream
nice.
pop.
Okay. All right. Oh, all right. Let me get ready.
A free pen. So the idea is try to keep it concise, but if you need to expand, all good.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna start. What is your biggest source of inspiration?
Oh, my Nana.
All right. Boom. That was
Yeah.
easy.
Yep.
I have an Nana too, by the way.
Oh, that's
She's my last living grandparent, and I love her. And she was actually a guest on this podcast.
oh, fun.
Yeah, and it spawned like I want to make a sector of the business for family podcasts called the Family Cast.
Oh,
And
cute.
we're still like getting that going, but I really feel like it'd be very neat to document the history before it goes away.
I think that'd be amazing as someone who's, getting older myself and has older parents and has lost all of my grandparents at this point now. You see the beauty of wanting, what did she say about that? And just being able to go listen to and hear her voice again.
Yeah.
You can get me to tear up over here, Josh.
Oh boy, it's not a good podcast if there's no tears.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I cried like 3-4 times in that episode with my Nana. That's for sure.
Oh, I will. Yeah, I can't
couldn't.
I can't
I just
imagine.
couldn't. But it's neat because we can look back, and I was like, you know what? You're going to be in town. I really wish I could have done this with my other grandparents, who mean so much to me and had so much to say before that they left this world, and so it was really special. So shout out to your Nana and mine
For sure.
on that. Oh, cool. I think it's so special because your Nana, like, knowing that she would be very proud of the work that you're doing right now, it has to be very, very fulfilling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So, you're plopped on an island. This is a 2-part question. Part 1, you're plopped on an island and one book can plop down from the sky and you're left with that book, reading it forever. What's that book?
Okay, so you've been to Insights enough with me. I don't do favorites. I got to do top 3. But I would say The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien. Okay. A Million Little Pieces by James Frey. And Environment, Scarcity, and Violence by Andrew Price Smith.
Oh, that last one seemed a bit intriguing.
He was a professor at USF when I studied in my previous life, when I studied political science and environmentalism. And he was a political environmental teacher, like political activism, I guess, but in the environmental realm. And this was a book he wrote. And it kind of changed the way I thought about everything.
Very cool.
Yes.
Okay, so good book.
And it's a small, it's not a big, thick, long read. It's a small, but it's, when you say concise and powerful, it's definitely one of them.
There's a book called Lying by Sam Harris that's like really, really thin. But I mean, crushes it.
Yeah.
Some
not
books
always
don't
about
have
length,
to be.
yeah.
No, it doesn't have to be huge.
I was going to say The Things They Carried's not overly long.
Yeah.
Are
those all nonfiction?
2 of them are, so Things They Carried is, Tim O'Brien was in Vietnam and he wrote this story about being there, and it's essentially like what you carry back home into the world. So it's fiction that's based on nonfiction, whatever category. It's not historical fiction, but it's based on a true story. And A Million Little Pieces, when it came out, was billed as an autobiography, but it turns out later it was fake. But it's still such a powerful book that I didn't really care. Yeah, it's just this raw look at it's truly about addiction, but it's really about hitting rock bottom and coming back, and it's just so wonderfully written and moving. And I thought, well, if this guy faked it, then he's a greater writer than if he really lived it.
Wow, yeah.
So who cares?
Or he went to some AA meetings and picked up a bunch of
He picked up
stories.
something. I think he probably had. I think it was another one of those. It was embellished truth.
Yeah, sure.
So, but it didn't. I think he was like a Oprah's book list winner, and she took it away from him, and it didn't affect me.
Oh
It
boy.
didn't affect me like
Yeah,
that.
sure. Yeah, there's some things where it stinks like you like a piece of art or music, and then you realize one of the band members did something, you're like, "Damn it, but I still like that music." Like, it's still good music. It's so conflicting.
Yes.
It actually, in a way, carries this extra weight to that art form. Even if it's a negative, it actually makes it a powerful thing because of what art is. That's now I lose points because this is rapid fire and that's my bad.
There you go. All right, so I won by default. All right, no more pressure. Good. Okay.
All right. A record now drops from the sky. It's one record with a record player that you can play on repeat. What's that?
I mean, all right, we're doing 3 because, like I said, there's
Oh
just no
man,
one.
I
But
don't know if
White
you.
Pony by Deftones.
Oh,
Murder Noms by Perfect Circle. And then Tommy, The Who, probably. Maybe Pink Floyd The Wall.
sure.
Maybe the Black Album by Metallica. Maybe Pearl Jam.
Okay.
But like that
You've
one's kind
definitely
of
given us the vibe.
that one's iffy. But the first 2 and White Pony, I didn't have to really think about that one. But you couldn't listen to that one only. Like every now and then your ears would need a break. So
Yeah. I had a guest on, his episode's coming out in 2, but it would have been the one before this. He's a doctor, chiropractor. He's really cool. And he answered with, he would want some sort of frequency,
oh,
just a solid frequency, because he's like, if I pick a song that's a vibe and now I'm stuck with that vibe forever. Like if I'm listening, yeah, I like that Metallica album or whatever, this Pink Floyd album, but on repeat. And I was like, wow, you just blew open rapid fire. But that was pretty special answer. But I thought I'd bring that up because you've definitely.
well, I was gonna say I've been
Yeah.
listening to all of those for at least 26 years.
Yeah.
Like I just dated
Yeah.
myself.
They've been
but,
around. Yeah.
and pretty much some of them on repeat. So I haven't gotten tired of those yet, but I could see that. And I love frequency. I've read tons about that and have tried it. And I think it's very fascinating. If you listen to at this frequency, do you really retain more of what you're reading? And does this frequency make the ADHD brain be quiet?
Right.
All of those cool things.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that's a hard question, so
Yeah.
honestly, I don't blame you
They're
for
all
answering
hard
it
for
with
me.
like,
People are like, "What's your favorite movie?" Can't tell you. What's your favorite?
yeah.
My brain doesn't work that way. I guess I don't know.
That's why I try to phrase it on like your island and that, because I used to ask like, "What's your favorite?" And it's
Right.
kind of like it's too generic, but it's the same
But
question.
it's the same question. That's I
Just
still
frames it with a context of like, okay, I'm chilling
You
alone.
can only have one. You can't pick 3, Meredith.
Yeah, no,
Somebody
no.
smuggled 3 in the sleeve.
I hate to say this, but no one's ever lost rapid fire. But you're
Well, you
really
already
approaching
you
that
already
line.
DQ'd first, so
That's right. Okay,
I'm in the safe zone.
fair enough. Fair enough. Let's get you through it. The last question: how do you define success?
I referenced this at the beginning, but it's making a difference to this one. So this is definitely not going to win rapid fire. But one of the first mission trips that we went on was to Mexico. And this was one that my parents had helped start. And they had done it for years until you had to be in 10th grade to go. So they had been doing it for at least 4 years, maybe 5, before I was eligible to go. So we went on it. And the Mexican liaison was doing, a inspirational talk. And he is telling the story of a boy and his dad are walking along the beach, and the beach is just covered in starfish. And they're talking about life. And as they're walking, the little boy's picking up starfish, and he's just throwing them in the ocean the whole time they're walking and talking. And finally, his dad stops, and he goes, "What are you doing, son? Why are you picking up these starfish and throwing them? Don't you see how many there are? You're never going to make a difference." And he goes, throws a starfish in the ocean. Made a difference to that one.
Uh-huh. All right. I was gonna disqualify you, but now you're okay.
I'm okay.
That's a great story.
So that's
very
why
great.
made a difference to this one. So just having that moment, you call it like the golden nugget from a lecture. So the made a difference to this one moment that you made a difference.
I feel like that's so important because a lot of people become paralyzed that they can't fix all these problems. You know, the world is not perfect, but the world is great. And there's a lot of great stuff going on, but there's a lot to fix or help with. But nobody can do it on their own or alone, but we can all make a small difference that actually adds up to enormous. It's funny because my mantra this year for my business and then personally is small is big. Small things add up to the big things. There's no other way to get big without doing a bunch of small stuff to it big.
Right.
Most of the time. And so, I mean, you just pulled at that thread really hard.
Well, and that's the whole point of Do Good Day, too,
Yeah.
right? Like, literally,
It's perfect.
it's the point of it. You add up the little things, and if you don't know where to start here. Come to Ferg's on March 28th and just start talking to nonprofits and see where you fit.
Totally.
See what speaks to you.
I think it's so cool what you've done, and the way that you present it too. You know, it's not flimsy, and it definitely has heart and passion and a legacy behind it, which adds just a lot of meaning. And so it's something to be super proud of. And I'm excited that it's right in our backyard, essentially, and I look forward to supporting it more and as much as I can as we move forward. And you coming on here, hopefully I can make a dent and a little change. A couple listeners, hey, yeah,
There
more
you
than a
go.
couple,
Well,
but-
yeah. Everybody that makes a difference, it makes a difference. You know, like you said, small is big. 1, 2 today, 1, 2 tomorrow. By the end of the week, you have 10.